Boom, here we have Bias X from Positive Grid, the first guitar amp plugin, guitar amp workstation to include AI. So all you have to do now is describe your tone and the AI will create it for you. You know, amp, cabinets, effects, settings, all that kind of stuff just from a prompt. Although you do not have to use the AI, you can still just put things together as you normally do. Okay, so this video we're going to focus on the AI, but we will take a real quick tour of the interface. And I say real quick because, I mean, it literally operates like every other guitar amp workstation plugin, right? So again, you don't have to use the AI if you don't want to. Of course, it's going to include tons of different presets in here, factory presets, save your own user presets. We all understand how that works. A bunch of different gear here with all new algorithms to sound even better than before. Again, folks, you don't have to use the AI. If I want a certain amp, I can just grab it real quick. I can come over here. I can choose replace. You know, I can split this out and to have a dual chain there. Over to the cabinets, of course, switch up your cabinet through all of these. Adjust your microphone distance and the position there. Change out the type of microphone. You can go over to an impulse response loader. So if you have your own impulse response loader, you can just bypass that and use that secondary plugin. You can also, this also has a impulse response loader built in. So I can just use this drop down, choose load, and then load whatever impulse response that I want directly in here. Of course, over here to effects, a bunch of different effects. If I want something, I can always throw it in there, adjust it however I want. Like I said, folks, we all know how this works. There's also a tuner built in down here. Tempo, output, mute, change the size of the interface, noise gate built in right there. You can also learn that. And we have a doubler built in, which you can turn on and change the milliseconds. So, you know, the left and right sound, or the left and right side that way are kind of gonna go back and forth in time and give you that sort of faux double tracked sound. I really do like that inclusion because what I used to do back in what they call the day is I would always use the BX stereo maker from Plugin Alliance. I would just put that, you know, either before or after my amp so I could get that faux double track whenever I'm just playing and trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. Okay, so with all of that covered, we understand how all that works. Let's get down to the AI. So right over here, click this button, and this is going to be your AI assistant. And all we have to do is describe the mood of our track, or the tone that we want. We could also use names of amps and styles, even artists. We can upload a track to sort of match that track as well. And we can also chat with it and say, hey, make it more bright, make it less bright and stuff like that, and adjust it on the fly. So let's start out with something, you know, pretty simple. So give me a clean tone that is dreamy. We're going to start off with a clean sound. Now for this first one, we'll go real time, and I'll let you see how long this takes. And it does vary based on your prompt. But for the subsequent ones, okay, it's done. I will, you know, speed through it so we can get onto the video. So tone reasoning, it does give you reasons of why it shows what it shows. So you can read that if you want. Then just click right there. It loads it up. So we have the amp, mod, cabinet, reverb, and all the settings are dialed in. So let's see if that works. All right, so it works pretty good, right? And then what I could do is say, maybe add delay and make it less saturated, maybe. Let's try that. All right, so there we go. I'll just click this to load it up, see what we got now. All right, so not bad. Let's move on to another sound. Maybe we'll try something like maybe a Hendrix sound. I can always start a new chat here too, by the way. Confirm that. Let's say, I don't know, give me a Hendrix sound. Let's try that. And there we go. Again, click here. Check it out on this sample, see what we got. Of course, adjust it to whatever you're actually doing here. If I don't like it, I can say I don't like it. Say, please do it again. And I spelled it wrong. Let's just see if it, please do mit again. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, so I got it. Unfortunately, dual signal path and multi-amp path aren't supported for tone refine. Well, I don't have a multi-amp path. So that's sort of a weird thing. So give me a, let's try it again here. Do it like that. Of course, we could also say things like the sound of anger and fire on Jupiter or something like that, and then see what it comes up with. Okay, so this time, see what we get. Pretty much the same thing overall. Anger and rage on Jupiter. Okay, let's just see what we got here. Load that up. Give us a mod, a gate, cabinet, reverb. Don't forget, you can always dial this stuff in yourself. See what we got. That's probably what it would sound like on on Jupiter for sure. Let's go for a more normal metal tone. I always have to click in here. One thing I do wish they would do is take the focus away from this plugin, because what happens is if I have this selected and well, now it's doing it right. If I have something selected in here and I hit my space bar, you know, it's taking focus away from the DAW. So then I have to remember to click here so it actually plays. But let's do this. Say the tone of Soulfly, heavy riff, something like that. Of course, we could dial that in even more. All right, so there it is. There's the reasoning. Load it up. Let's see how it sounds on our metal. All right, so kind of just basic. Let's see if I can dial it down. Make it more brutal and raw. Let's try that. So in this case, I'm just modifying my previous prompt, and I don't have to redo the whole thing, right? Like I don't have to say, make the Soulfly sound, make it brutal, right? It doesn't have to redo it. You can just add on to it. So brutal raw, let's see what this does here. Pop that. All right, so it changed some things up here. All right, I'm not happy with that at all. I don't think that's a very good sound. Let's try maybe something that it might understand a little bit better. Say, Lamb of God, chug. I'll try to dial it in maybe a little bit more. See what this gives us here. I'm surprised it kept with this amp here. I don't understand why they, well, let's just see what it sounds like. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. They should have, for that, they should have given us this amp. Would probably have been much better. Yeah, that would have made much more sense to have this one, you know? Okay, but we'll move on. We'll just keep trying more. All right, let's try that there. Lead sound, mostly clean, a little breakup with delay. All right, check this out here. Let's see what it gives us. All right, so not bad. Of course, remember, you can always load up your own impulse responses or change out the cabinets. I mean, your cabinets are going to make a huge difference to your overall sound. Let's try this here. Let's try more of a Pink Floyd lead sound. We'll go to Pink Floyd lead sound solo from Comfortable Numb. Let's just see if it can understand, I mean, comfortably numb. I'm trying to break this AI just to see if it can understand or not. Okay, so they know David Gilmour, Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. Okay. Load it up. Gate, comp, drive, amp, cab, delay, reverb. Looks reasonable so far. Let's see what it sounds like. Not bad. Now let's try something else. Let's try doing a tone that already exists. So we'll take this. We'll take that sound and I'll just load that up in here and we'll see if we can copy that. And to do that, I'll just hit this right there. And this is the guitar sound. We'll open that up and see if we can replicate that in Bias X. Okay, so we have to choose the part of the track and we'll do that. So now it gives us 4 different presets to choose from. We'll start off with preset 1, and this is the dry guitar of that same exact playing. Okay, it's close. It's not exact. Preset 2. Again, remember, this is the original here. So this is really panned, like the actual track is panned very wide. This is not panned as wide. I could change this input to stereo. Let's see if that works. So it's close, but it's... All right, it doesn't have the attack and the presence that the actual track has. So I would have to dial that in. And let's see what they did for EQ here. So it's too much on the low end. I can already hear that. So that's going to be closer. It's not exact. I'd have to actually change the cabinet to make it more exact. But again, this is the original. And the tone that I fixed. Okay, so it got kind of close, but not exactly. I still had to go in there and tweak it and dial that in a little bit better. Now let's try that again, but this time we'll use like a full track, right? So we will use this here. So let's use that. It's got drums and all that kind of stuff in there. Let's see if we can get a tone from that. So same stuff here. Boom, click that, and this is the song. Open this up, upload it, and let's see if we can extract a tone from that full mixed track. Okay, so we have to choose the part of the track, and I think it's going to be around 30-something seconds here. Yeah, we'll go with that. So we'll go right here and it will create our tone for us. And let's see if it's anywhere close to that. So we got preset 1 there. Of course, remember folks, to save these things as, save as, do whatever there, if you want to be able to recall them. Okay. Here let's see what we got. I should switch this back to mono input. Yeah. Preset 2, 3, and 4. So I think 1 or 4 is probably the closest. And of course, it sounds better with the doubler on. So again, I would mess with this a bit. It didn't, I don't even know if I'd have that on. I might, well, I'll leave it there for now. I guess I just turn it off. Try that. All right. I think that's probably close. It's not exact, but I think it's close. Yeah, it's close. It's not exact. Of course, you know, I don't have everything else in here, drums and bass and everything else. But we can test it with some drums. And let's see here. I think that's actually better right there. I had to replace the cab. So as you can see, it does work. It's not getting it 100% exact though, as you can see. Let's do a few more here. The Nirvana Sound, I'll just spell it wrong, and then we'll say like a riff. Okay, so Nirvana, grunge, set this up. Let's drop it in here. All right, it looks possibly okay. All right, not bad. Oh yeah. I'm actually kind of impressed with that one. That's actually pretty good. It responds perfectly to, you know, the playing style. So we'll do a clean lead solo, make it swirl. Okay, see what we got here. Let's see if it works with this. Oh yeah, cool. That wasn't too bad. So as you can see, some of these work, some of them seem not to work as much. Again, I mean, one of the reasons why they're doing the AI is so people who don't know, you know, like the gear that you would add in, you know, reverb sound, chorus sound, flanger, they don't know that. They might just say swirly or something like that, you know? Let's try something else. Let's try maybe naming exact gear. Something like an ENGL Savage or something, right? So here we have the ENGL Savage from Plugin Alliance Brainworks. They make amazing amp sims. I love these things. They always sound so good. So let me just grab some preset real quick here. All right, let's try this. All right. One thing that makes these sound so good is because they have the entire recording chain, which is the cabinet, the microphone, run through certain, you know, high quality preamps, outboard gear and stuff like that. All right, so that's more or less what a ENGL Savage is going to sound like. Let's see if we can get that sound over here in Bias X, which does not have an ENGL amp in here. We do have several amps, but we don't have an ENGL. So got some messes there. Of course, the SLO, basically like a VH4. Got a bass amps in there. Let's see what we can get. Let's just say ENGL Savage Metal Tone Aggressive. And let's see what it gives us here. All right, so for a modern metal tone inspired by the ENGL Savage, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what it gives us here. So it gave us the VH4, matching cab, and a gate. Let's see how that sounds. Make sure to pop it on here. All right, versus this model of an ENGL Savage here. All right, so I can hear it in there, but I think the cabinet is what's holding it back. That's probably closer. Don't forget, you can always load your own impulse responses too. So maybe this one here in the center, and then over here, we'll do, let's say, the edge. Okay, see what that is. All right. So, yeah, the thing that's making this not match is more about the cabinet here, because it's not matching. I can hear it in there, right? I can hear it. I can hear that sound in here. So what I'd probably have to do is dig through my impulse responses, and I have way too many. I bet I actually do some V30s and SM57, and then we'll just do something like that on there. I do like how it populates over here, so now I can go through basically that entire folder without having to load it again, but I kind of wish it would do that for both sides, so I don't have to go through. Oh well, at least it drops me into the same overall folder, so that's nice actually. And maybe do that one off axis. Let's just see. Okay, there we go. So that's getting us more of the overall sound. Like I said, the cabinet's going to make a huge difference in your overall sound. Oh yeah. Being that this is using an actual ENGL cab. Yeah, once we actually load up impulse responses of an ENGL cab, it much more aligns with that. So in this case, I would have to dial it in and use the exact microphones, which we have tons here if you have like the red wires and stuff. But again, you can always load up your own impulse responses if you don't like the cabinets that are provided here. Okay, let's do, I guess, a couple more. Let's maybe some more creative stuff here to just get an idea if it will do, something creative. So what if we, let's do this. So guitar sound from 1756. There was no electric guitar in 1756, so I have to tell you that. Because it wasn't invented. It wasn't a thing. Didn't exist. So I want to see what the AI does with that information. Okay, so the user aims, created from the year 1756, should be extremely dry, organic, and lo-fi. Okay, so even though it doesn't actually exist, it's using some reasoning of what would it sound like if it was in 1756. So I guess we'll see. Not bad. You know, this is sort of a different way to dial in guitar tones where you just don't know. What if you want something like jumping on a spider and eating an ice cream cone? Let's see what it can do with, with something descriptive like that. All right, so to create a sound that captures the surreal imagery, you can read all that if you want. Let's just see what it did. Okay. Well. Okay, not horrible. Now, I mean, we got to do this. Farts. Low-pitched, spluttery fart effect. Okay, I will be impressed if we actually got a fart sound out of this there. I guess we'll go for something clean first. I'm not sure I'd call that farts. Okay, well, that's what it does with farts. Again, sort of interesting. A unique lead sound never heard before. A sunset and fall, a warm hug with farts. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so to achieve a truly unique lead sound, let's try this, see what we got. All right, drive, mod, comp, reverb. Okay. I like it, something different. You know, if you don't know what things are, if you don't know what a chorus is or what a flanger is or something like that, you could always just, you know, give me a swirly sound, or however you would describe it in natural language. You know, give me an ice cream on a sunny day, right? So like would that be like a bright tone? I'm imagining clean, you know, refreshing. It's my guess. Let's see what the AI does with something like that. Yeah, exactly what I thought. Sparkling, bright, refreshing. Yeah, ice cream sparkle. My guess is it's gonna be cleaner, right? Okay. The most brutal sound every freaking time. I click in there and it doesn't, I gotta click twice. Okay. All right, we'll try that. There's some sort of the most brutal guitar sound ever. Very articulate and clear. High gain, but not super high. Clear, full, gent. Okay, let's see what this does for us here. Gave us the VH4 with the VH4 cab, EQ, reverb. Let's see what settings they used. You're still gonna have to dial this stuff in, folks. At least that's how it seems here. Sometimes it kind of does pretty well. Other times you still have to manipulate it and really mess around with your cabinets and your microphones. That's going to make one of the biggest amount of differences. It seems like it dials in the amp more or less okay, but the cabinet choices seemed to be not what I would choose every single time to get the sound that I want. But you know, if you don't know how to dial things in, if you don't know what effects to use, something like this, I see could be helpful. If you want to type in, you know, give me an SLO, you know, SLO metal heavy, instead of actually just going in there and grabbing the amp, putting it in here, adjusting things yourself, you know, throwing in new things like that, tweaking it, maybe taking hours and hours, you know, you can do it like that. And it should at least give you a pretty good starting point, you know, overall. Modern metal based SLO, at least they gave us the proper amp. Pretty basic overall setup. Oh yeah, it actually works. They have a lot of nice amps in here that whenever you dial them, especially whenever you put them with the proper cabinet, they can really sound good. There we go. There we go. All right, folks, so that is Bias X. If you want to check it out for yourself, of course, I have a link in the description below. As of right now, they don't have a free trial, so I had to pay my 99 bucks to upgrade from the previous version. But if you want to check it out for yourself, again, I'll have a link in the description below. It's here, folks. AI is now in your guitar amp software.